Well, I've already given you written feedback, most of you that is, on assignment 2 and some other feedback for assignment 1, but I thought I'd just wrap things up here with a couple of words about everyone's assignment and farewell to all of you. I wish you well in your future endeavors, and please be welcome to stay in touch if you like. Um, Craig, I know you were concerned about charcoal and how well it was serving you in this drawing. You know, charcoal was an option with this assignment and not a requirement. I do think you're getting somewhere, and I like the way that charcoal is mm, adding value to the entire composition. We don't see any place with just bare white paper. You know, I think you could let up on line a little bit. It might be that you used a ruler, and so the edges from ruling remain. Try to let any edge be just that, the edge of a shape of value and not a standalone line. And on that topic, I'd like to suggest that your chords might cast shadows, and they might not always be black. Well, I put this image, the sample from assignment 1 and 2 there in the corner, just to remind everybody that this is a work that's intended to emphasize texture. And you notice several of you have gone out of your way to find subjects that included texture, like this vase with the dripping glaze on it that Alonda's chosen. Alonda, I observed that you have really pushed things quite a lot more from your early version of your assignment 2 to the finished one. And if you take a look in the discussion, you'll see that I'm making some notes for you on the mouth of the vase, which in fact does look improved, but that ellipse for its opening might be squished more. One other little suggestion is to include a horizon line. Lindsay, I noticed that you're generous with your remarks given to classmates posting in the discussions. Thank you. Um, Here, I understand that you've struggled with different aspects like the dolphin's tail, and it is hard to put something like that in perspective. But remember that drawing one thing is very much like drawing another. It's mainly a job of analyzing lines, edges, shapes, and values. So here, I do like the texture on the fish toy. Um, I should think that the bottles might cast some shadow, and I'd suggest that you avoid spelling out labels and take a look at Edward's book to see how some of the illustrations of art supplies are drawn there for ideas. Well, hi Mike, I'm not sure what's up here because in the past there hasn't been much difficulty with seeing your images, but these scans are not top quality. In fact, in assignment 1 it's very hard to even see the image. I noticed that you have chosen something that has a pronounced texture. I really like the texture on the gooseneck of this lamp. Something that you might do with a composition like this is let the lamp be on and let the room be a little bit dark. The composition should have 3 subjects in it. It's also good to give a ground plane and maybe a cast shadow. Well, Matthew, you know, like Mike, you've made some really beautiful drawings in our course. For your grand finale here, I would suggest you take these photos and render them in grayscale in Photoshop. Also, I find that the assignment 2 photo is a little bit small in size. I actually downloaded it twice to check it. It seems like it's small in size, which makes it hard to see the detail. And it does look like there is a lot of detail there. So there are a lot of ways you could choose subjects for drawing, and I would say selecting what to draw is quite important to the success of your work. Here it's clear that Jenny's based her choices on a variety of textures. We've got that hard, smooth looking faceted nail polish bottle, the soft pear, and the chest that has a pronounced texture. I could imagine running my fingers over it. You know, I observed that Jenny has really made strong cast shadows, which adds a certain drama. But one thing we've been talking about is whether the bear could have a wider variety of values. And I know that's a hard thing to push yourself to do, but I would say if this bear is very light, nearly white in color, it's still going to have shadows in some areas. And one thing you could do to increase the range might be to let areas of bear be nearly white and have a darker background behind them. Well, Adam, you know, we've looked at this in depth already. Let's see, if I had anything to add, I'd say in addition to making the interior of the cup darker, possibly, take a look at that object on the right side. It might be a handcrafted thing that's sort of irregular in its form. I'm wondering if you want the bottom edge of it to be so sharp, so in focus. It might be that that could be softer since it's behind the mug. Let the mug be more in focus, for example. So that would include the bottom edge of the cylindrical form and also the hole that we see in the front of it. Well, Latron, I read your post and now I'm taking a look at your second version of assignment 2, and I know that you're experiencing a little bit of frustration. I'd like to suggest that a lot of the difficulty you're experiencing comes from not having had the best layout in the first place. You know, while those keys were a job to draw, the big matter is using your sighting and what you know about perspective to get the drawing tablet and also the bottom half of the computer in perspective that jives with the table. Daniel, this is a wonderfully ambitious drawing, and there are so many nice moments within it. You know, as I was saying to, I think it was Matthew, I advise that you take your best photo of this, render it in grayscale, and then maybe also go to work with levels and brightness and contrast in Photoshop. Well, it might seem sort of antique looking to have it yellowish as it is. I can't imagine that that is what you were intending. So great work here. So Matt, the more I look at this, the more I find to like here. You know, one thing that's striking me just now is how the Christmas cactus is leaning off to the left as if it's reaching for the sun, and that is the brighter part of the composition. And then the picture points toward the right. So they're pointing in different directions, and that's awfully nice. As I was saying before, I suggest that you check to see whether the value has more variation in that largish dark cast shadow, and also make sure that the portfolio image that you use for web or to print from is in focus. Okay, all of you, I'm expecting to hear of great things in future. Continued drawing. Best wishes to all of you. Have a fantastic summer break.